He lights a cigar, takes a long, enjoyable drag, then nonchalantly tosses it into a trash bin behind him. Flames erupt as the ember catches gasoline. As the person responsible, he not only doesn't care at all but also drives his supercar away from the scene in a blatantly casual manner. In the car, he calmly calls the fire department to report the situation, then uses clever words to extract their travel route. After confirming no information was missing, the man immediately pulls his car into a small alley next to the target. Next, he takes out a prepared janitor's outfit to change. Waiting until everything is ready, he clings to the approaching fire truck. Just like that, with superhuman personal ability, this man not only infiltrates the strictly guarded Antwerp Diamond area but also whistles a greeting to the guard behind him with great interest. Waiting until the fire truck passes the next corner, he jumps off the vehicle, landing right next to a manhole cover. After using his tools to pry open the lid, he crawls straight into the smoke-filled sewer. Next, he doesn't rush but walks to the mission location, using a high-tech laser flashlight to carve a path for himself. And this is the target of his trip, a small, strictly guarded vault. He places a few small bombs on the safe. With a loud explosion, millions of dollars fly everywhere, but not a single bill catches his eye. He walks straight to the center of the vault and takes out a small, inconspicuous box, because the diamonds stored inside are what truly hold value. One would think he would sell this to make a huge sum of money. Unexpectedly, the man who never gets what he wants takes these diamonds to trade with Burro Polonia. Seeing the 99.9% pure diamonds on the table, Burro Polonia is very satisfied and hands Luke a piece of paper with the coordinates of another criminal syndicate's lair. Luke slowly sends those coordinates to the command center. Immediately, the U.S. Air Force executes a precise missile attack on the target. Supposedly, after finishing this mission, Luke just needed to handle the boss Burro Polonia in front of him to retire right there and enjoy a peaceful life. But unexpectedly, an incident occurs at this moment. When pouring wine, Burro Polonia suddenly shakes his hand, spilling wine onto the diamonds. The seasoned gangster immediately notices something unusual. Why does the wine bead up on the diamonds like this? These are uncut diamonds, they should have a coating. It does have a coating, but it smells like asphalt. This is residue from some plastic caused by an explosion. No, don't you lie to me. You don't have a diamond factory. You stole these. Why did you lie to me about your identity? Who are you really? Burro Polonia gets angry and immediately calls his henchmen to subdue Luke, then starts searching him frantically. Sure enough, in Luke's pocket, they find a small pill. Facing Burro Polonia's question, Luke frankly admits he is a CIA agent. This small pill is poisoned to die after a failed mission. So now that you've failed, what do you plan to do? I think I can only swallow this pill and end myself here. Hearing that, Burro Polonia happily leans down. He wants to see with his own eyes Luke swallowing the poison pill in front of him. But the strange thing is, after Luke takes the pill with wine, the two sit staring at each other for nearly half an hour, yet the poison shows no sign of taking effect. Why does it seem like nothing is happening? Try thinking in a different direction. What if I just swallowed the antidote? Although not very smooth, Luke finally completes this last mission. Before leaving, he doesn't forget to swipe the diamonds on the table. After all, the beach vacation after retirement needs quite a bit of cost. But Luke didn't expect that the very next day, when he returned home to celebrate, he would accidentally discover a shocking secret. Due to the specific nature of his job requiring secrecy, Luke's family all thought he was just a silly old man selling gym equipment. Today, he finally gets to meet his youngest daughter Emma, of whom he is always proud. But strangely, there seem to be a few wounds on her arm. Emma explains it was from falling while skateboarding. Initially, Luke didn't pay much attention. But a week later, when he went to the CIA to process his retirement, his longtime partner Barry informed him that the higher-ups had just assigned a new mission. The CIA has an agent codenamed Panda working undercover in a terrorist base in Guyana. Intelligence says Panda will likely be exposed next week. Therefore, the superiors want Luke to perform one last mission before retiring, help Panda get the terrorists' nuclear suitcase and bring both back to the country. The terrorist leader in the photo is Burrow. His father died at Luke's hands 25 years ago. Although Burrow has now grown up and succeeded his father, he doesn't know this. He even considers Luke a benefactor. So, as soon as they meet, Burrow enthusiastically leads Luke on a tour of his base. But right at this moment, the young agent who is only 75 years old is frozen in fear when he sees a ring fight in the distance. Because on the ring, there is a very strong girl who is none other than his good daughter Emma, who he always thought never drank, smoked, or cursed. Good heavens, looking at his daughter on the ring with powerful strikes, completely contrary to the image he knew, Luke feels like his heart has dropped into an abyss. After the tense and dramatic match, Burrow immediately introduces the two to each other. Just one look and both understand each other's identity immediately, but on the surface, they pretend to meet for the first time, greeting socially. "I really like the way you threw him over your shoulder to the ground. It was okay. I've been practicing this move for 6 months. Be careful. I know someone who fell flat just from skateboarding." But when everyone around leaves, the father and daughter suddenly explode. Luke angrily calls Barry, his logistics officer. Clearly, Barry knew this beforehand. He helplessly accepts Luke's video call. "My daughter works for the CIA? Old friend. Hello Uncle Barry. Hi honey. We won't use bad language this year. If you say that again, I'll be mad." Barry hurriedly explains. Perhaps Emma inherited Luke's top-tier agent genes. The CIA tricked her into becoming an agent a few years ago. And to ensure the father and daughter wouldn't be distracted, they deliberately arranged for the two to operate in different areas, even forcing those who knew to sign non-disclosure agreements. Now, they just need to get the terrorists' nuclear suitcase, and everything after that can be negotiated with superiors. That evening, Luke is invited to a party at the terrorist base. At this moment, he suddenly notices Burrow acting a bit strange. He goes on stage to express his respect for Luke, then calls a close henchman up. Everyone thinks Burrow intends to reward this guy. But unexpectedly, it seems he just received some news. "Where is my money? Where is the money from the last weapons deal? I never touched that money. I swear I didn't trick you, Burrow. Don't." Perhaps Burrow did this to intimidate Luke. A newcomer cooperating here better not play tricks involving money or they'll bite the dust. After his men clean up the corpse, Burrow immediately seeks out Luke, who is sitting in a daze. He curiously asks, "My father told me that you invented a killing technique by slitting the throat vertically, causing the opponent to lose blood extremely fast and die." Burrow says he has never witnessed this killing technique and hopes one day to see it with his own eyes. After talking to Burrow, Luke turns around and bumps into an old man. This old man takes the opportunity to shove a piece of paper into Luke's hand. Although a bit confused, Luke still takes advantage of the moment when no one is around to look at it. Then, without hesitation, he uses dancing as an excuse to find Emma. It turns out that old man is willing to pay a large sum of money for Luke to take his family away when leaving here. Emma, of course, disagrees, but the father and daughter don't argue much because they have a more important mission to do right now. Late at night, two of Burrow's henchmen are on their way to a nearby rice field to receive goods when they suddenly see a dead cow blocking the road. They think some villager drove carelessly and hit the cow, so they intend to carry it away to continue. But right then, someone suddenly ambushes them. It must be said that Emma is truly twisted. She didn't care about the cow's feelings and crawled right inside its carcass to ambush them. Although helpless, Luke can't sway her. The father and daughter have to stuff the cow carcass into the trunk and drive the jeep to the rice field to find the receiver, because the CIA informed Luke that this receiver knows Emma's true identity. They must quickly find a way to deal with him. But unexpectedly, the father and daughter are still arguing about trivial matters. Luke blames Emma for dating a useless boyfriend, while Emma mocks Luke for being cheated on by his wife. The two keep debating like in a rhetoric contest, forgetting the ill-fated receiver who has kicked the bucket because of them. Okay, what do we do now? You can only accept the truth. Mom fell in love with someone else. No, I meant how to handle the body. The next morning, Emma, with a confident face that she has resolved everything, takes out a notebook and starts discussing the plan to steal the nuclear suitcase with Luke. Since weapons are not allowed in the base, Emma pulls out 2 black market pistols she bought, an automatic rifle, and a small pink pistol. Clearly, Luke is at a disadvantage. But just as the father and daughter are continuing their discussion, Burrow's roar suddenly echoes outside the door. After all, the disappearance of the receiver last night is not a small matter. Burrow's number 2 henchman immediately suspects the father and daughter. Luke intends to explain, but right then, a woman's scream suddenly rings out by the riverbank. Burrow and the henchman rush out to look. On the river surface, the corpses of the 2 henchmen receiving goods last night are floating. And Burrow discovers a vertical cut on the neck of one of them. Damn it. Burrow is furious and immediately summons all his henchmen to blockade the entire base to hunt down Luke. But unexpectedly, Emma has taken Luke to the place where the nuclear suitcase is hidden, along with the old man who gave the paper last night. Don't tell me you told him to come. I think he's a good person. But he's Burrow's man. If so, he would have shot us already. We can't risk it. I am not Burrow's man. Seeing Burrow's group about to find them, Luke immediately comes up with a plan. He sends the coordinates of the nuclear suitcase to Barry, asking Barry to use hacking techniques to create a sound alarming an imminent explosion. The henchmen are scared witless. Luke easily retrieves the nuclear suitcase. Then they drive the jeep left by the henchmen towards the rendezvous point with the helicopter. However, the loud noise still causes Burrow's men to spot them. During the chase, Emma is unfortunately shot in her left arm. Luke, heartbroken for his child, immediately pulls out the pink pistol to fire back, but the bumpy ride makes it impossible to aim. Frustrated, Luke jumps onto the opponent's car. After that, they speed away and finally reach the rendezvous point. But right before the helicopter arrives, Burrow leads a group of henchmen there. Knowing the situation is critical, Luke raises his hands to surrender. Do you know how much you've hurt me? I trusted you so much. Tell me, who do you work for? Seeing Luke not answer, Burrow goes crazy, grabbing the old man's daughter and using her life to force Luke to tell the truth. But unexpectedly, Luke not only refuses to yield but also tells Burrow the truth about his father's death. I grabbed your father by the collar and hung him over a cliff. He cried like a baby begging me to spare his life. He even peed his pants. I will torture you to death. Including this child. I will make you wish you were dead. Call me stupid. Why did you tell me the truth? Because I'm buying time. Burrow looks up to see a CIA helicopter suddenly appear in the sky. Powerful firepower from above throws the terrorists below into chaos in an instant. Luke and Emma seize the opportunity to pick up weapons from the ground, find cover, and quickly eliminate all immediate threats. Although they let Burrow escape in the end, at least they accomplished the goal. After returning home and handing over the mission, Luke thought he could retire in peace. But he unexpectedly discovers that superiors have assigned the father and daughter another difficult mission. They discovered Burrow is trying to build weapons of mass destruction and intends to hijack a train carrying nuclear waste to execute this plot. Luke and Emma are given new identities and board this train with 2 other team members. At this time, the father and daughter still haven't realized they are about to face an extremely dangerous challenge. While riding the high-speed train, Luke suddenly spots a suspicious man sitting in the row behind, using scarred hands to eat a sandwich. He might be an assassin. He's eating a bacon sandwich, but Kazakhs don't eat pork. Although realizing the opponent definitely has issues, Luke decides to observe further. But unexpectedly, after the train runs for a while, the two people sitting by the window are horrified to discover a Chinook helicopter flying over their heads. Emma feels uneasy and turns to look at the back row. Sure enough, the sandwich-eating man has vanished. Seeing that, Luke doesn't hesitate to climb onto the roof of the train through the connection between two cars. At this moment, he is horrified to find that man using a hose from the helicopter to siphon nuclear waste from the rear car. Although he takes him down, the helicopter's hose has already started sucking the waste. Logistics calculates and says they only have 12 minutes to stop it. Hearing that, Emma immediately pulls out her pistol intending to shoot down the helicopter, but this idea is immediately rejected by logistics. Because if the helicopter carrying nuclear waste is shot down, the agricultural land for kilometers around will be poisoned. Now their only way is to make the train go faster than the helicopter, forcing them to disconnect the hose themselves. But unexpectedly, when the father and daughter enter the cockpit, they discover the train driver is an accomplice of the terrorists. After a dramatic coordinated fight, the father and daughter not only take down the driver but also accidentally destroy the automatic acceleration button. Helpless, the two have to ask logistics for a solution. Everyone, under the floor where you are, there is a cooling box. Let's open it right now. Luke hesitates at nothing and immediately opens the cooling box under the floor with his daughter. But the magnetic cooling fluid shouldn't be too much or too little. Not knowing how many valves to open, Luke has to ask logistics. But unexpectedly, right at this moment. 4, done. I opened 4 valves. What? Why did you open 4 valves? Because you just said 4. I haven't said anything yet. It was Barry who said 4. I meant Luke's ex-wife's current boyfriend. He just took 4 Viagra pills at once. I knew you were tracking him. Dad, you are shameless. It turns out that while on the mission, Luke secretly asked his partner to track his ex-wife. Emma is furious hearing this. But luckily, the overload of cooling fluid helps the train reach maximum speed. Seeing the unstable situation, the helicopter has to disconnect the hose and flee. However, since Luke opened 4 valves, the train is currently running at 400 km per hour. If they don't slow down quickly, half the town ahead will be wiped out. Congratulations, Dad. You just created the world's largest mobile nuclear bomb. After asking logistics, the frantic father and daughter realize if cooling can accelerate the train, then conversely, heating will surely slow it down. Emma quickly thinks of the extremely hot nuclear waste pipe on the roof. But Luke thinks at the current speed, Emma would be blown away if she climbs up. After thinking for a while, the two come up with a plan. Previously, to mend the father-daughter relationship, the CIA specially made a badass electromagnetic vest. Just press the button at the belt, and a strong magnetic field will stick the two together. But unexpectedly, Luke brought it along on the mission. So this time it's the small but mighty Emma's turn to climb onto the roof. Luke stays below the train ceiling and activates the magnet to hold his daughter tight. After a difficult struggle, Emma finds she is still a short distance from the pipe. She calls Luke to play a childhood game. Luke presses the button to turn off the switch at the belt, helping Emma stand firmly on the roof. Then she jumps and grabs the pipe swaying in the wind. Luke times it right and turns the vest switch on. The strong magnetic force pulls Emma stuck tight to the train ceiling. I got you, honey. I got you. Immediately after, the father and daughter bring the pipe into the cockpit. After adjusting the switch correctly to open the pump head, the train's magnet starts to heat up, and the train's speed gradually decreases. It seems we succeeded. Although they didn't catch Burrow, they stopped him from stealing a large amount of nuclear waste. For an agent nearly 80 years old like Luke, a draw counts as a win. Meanwhile, at the terrorist base, although not getting all the nuclear waste, the amount Burrow obtained from the helicopter is enough for him to continue research. However, now to have a new breakthrough, they must obtain a thesis on recycling nuclear waste that is banned from circulation throughout Central Asia. The CIA learns of Burrow's plan through information from the mole, so they decide to act first. During the transaction, the terrorists suddenly discover the seller standing not far away has a strange wound on his stomach that is bleeding. Don't open the suitcase. Although Burrow realizes this is a trap, they cannot react in time and are hit by tranquilizer needles shot from the suitcase. Burrow knows the situation is critical and intends to flee, but Luke is lying in wait. He drives his beloved pickup truck, chasing Burrow across the vast steppe. Although Burrow stubbornly runs for 10 kilometers, when the anesthetic starts to kick in, he is exhausted and collapses. At this time, at the transaction scene, Tolly receives news that Luke has caught Burrow, so he immediately takes off his shirt intending to teach the big guy in front of him a lesson. Before Tolly can recover, he suddenly discovers that the person who just fired shots to save him was his girlfriend, Tina. She says nothing and drives the supercar away from the scene under Tolly's bewildered gaze. On the surface, this capture seems successful, but in reality, everything is within Burrow's plan. During interrogation, his eyes show no fear. He even says he is willing to provide information on other terrorists' bases. But I have a small request. Detain me my way. I want to be under house arrest in Bora Bora and my assets must not be touched. The ankle tracker must be waterproof because I want to walk on the beach. Actually, this can be considered a prison, just that the iron bars are replaced by white sand. Hearing that, Luke and Emma just treat Burrow's words like wind passing their ears. But unexpectedly, CIA superiors think this is a once-in-a-lifetime opportunity. They ignore Emma and Luke's protests, forcing the father and daughter to take Burrow to a remote warehouse. Here, Burrow uses the nuclear suitcase they captured earlier to film a video posted on the dark web. Less than 15 minutes later, there are countless purchase requests from terrorists around the world. Seeing this, the leader of the CIA's counterterrorism division doesn't hesitate to mobilize all counterterrorism forces and special ops to attack all the locations sent. But at this moment, they are horrified to discover that all those bases are empty. By now, everyone realizes Burrow's goal from the start was the nuclear suitcase. He deliberately let himself be caught in the previous transaction, using fake information about terrorists to lure counterterrorism forces elsewhere, then had people attack the warehouse which was short on guards. Everyone could only watch helplessly as Burrow took back the nuclear suitcase and calmly left the warehouse. The female counterterrorism leader is furious witnessing this scene. She can't believe she made such a wrong decision. So, in a meeting a week later, the CIA shifts the target to eliminating Burrow. They investigate that Burrow is hiding in a bunker in Serbia. To help the agents complete the mission, the CIA contacted neighboring countries in Europe, using the excuse of transporting coffins to bring agents and a large amount of advanced weapons into Serbia. After landing, the agents immediately switch vehicles and head to Burrow's base. But right at this moment, something terrible happens. Local terrorists suddenly attack the group of arriving agents. Luke realizes they have been bribed by Burrow. The agents don't hesitate to use heavy weapons. 2 jeeps rushing to attack are wiped out in the blink of an eye. Luke intends to get out to see if anyone survived to interrogate, but just then someone shoots Tolly in the shoulder. Although not seriously injured, everyone decides to go to the hospital to check just to be sure. But unexpectedly, the chubby girl in the team accidentally pulls the trigger. Now with no means of transport, everyone has to grit their teeth and walk to the target to complete the mission. After taking Tolly to a sewer to rest, Luke and Emma go straight into the factory, their target. The father and daughter split up to enter the bunker where Burrow is hiding. In a flash, Luke spots terrorists patrolling outside. He approaches the base, neatly eliminating the guards. Suddenly, Luke sees Burrow right in front of him. He could fire to finish Burrow off and leave immediately, but the director lets Luke and Burrow chat for a while. And then Burrow's number 2 henchman appears in time to help him escape. But unexpectedly, at the next corner, Burrow runs into Emma, who is also hunting him. After a few shots miss the target, Emma immediately chases Burrow. Approaching the corner ahead, she suddenly sees Burrow throw the nuclear suitcase on the ground. Knowing he is baiting her, Emma, lacking experience, still falls for the trap. The big and strong Burrow strangles Emma to the point of suffocation. Meanwhile, on the other side, although Luke is gaining the upper hand in the brawl, the scumbag Burrow plays dirty and pulls out a grenade. He doesn't hesitate to pull the pin and throw it straight at Luke. But being the main character, Luke isn't easily taken out. Truly hopeless. The shockwave from the explosion helps Emma escape the hold but also causes the already dilapidated bunker to start collapsing. Debris blocks the only exit. And at this moment, logistics discovers the temperature in the bunker is rising dizzily. If the detonator in the nuclear suitcase reaches the limit threshold, it will explode, and everyone, including the agents, will die together here. Hearing that, Rue immediately takes Tali out of the sewer. Luke also frantically calls Emma in panic. He even runs out and bangs madly on the manhole cover, but how can a near-death old man open the manhole cover with just strength? Luke quickly grabs a nearby steel pipe, applying the leverage principle learned at Cambridge, and finally pries open the rusty manhole cover. Fortunately, Emma, who inherited her father's intelligence, also found a ventilation shaft to escape. Emma has to temporarily team up with Burrow, using Burrow as a bridge. Emma quickly grabs Luke to climb out of the pipe. But this time Burrow calculated wrong. Luke looks at Burrow, who is bewildered under the pipe, with a dagger-like stare, then turns his back and runs. Burrow, in despair, can only sit still praying hopelessly. An explosion rings out, everything turns to smoke. Logistics reports the explosion spread underground. This battle of wits finally draws the curtain. But what no one expected is that half a year later, Luke's ex-wife holds a wedding with her lover. Luke, wishing to hold on, gives her his medal. But immediately after, a car bomb. Emma realizes the critical situation, immediately draws her gun inside the church. Gunshots ring out across the sky. A group of terrorists rushes in from outside. To protect the children, Luke rushes out from the side door, silencing them. After a fierce gunfight, they finally eliminate all the terrorists. But when everyone thought it was over, Burrow suddenly appears from the back door, subduing Luke's ex-wife. The scar on his face proves he survived the nuclear explosion. Since then, he has always nurtured the intention of revenge. Today he finally has the chance. Burrow, who has lost all humanity, forces Luke and Emma to point guns at each other. He wants to witness Luke's family slaughtering each other. At this moment, to break the deadlock, Luke tells his ex-wife that after all that has happened, she deserves a medal. Hearing that, Luke's ex-wife suddenly understands. She takes the medal out of her pocket. Now, no matter how carefully he looks, Burrow cannot be revived again. Afterwards, Tali and Rue also arrive to support. Although Burrow is dead, they bring even more shocking news. All of their identities have been leaked by Burrow. Luke has worked for so many years, surely he has many enemies. Therefore, the CIA is forced to put everyone on a van. What their future holds remains a mystery, but at least FUBAR Season 1 officially ends. Truly a mess in the true sense of the word. The story ends here today. Thank you for watching. What do you think of this movie? Please comment below.